Okay, so the next thing we need to do is figure out how much we need to purchase of raw materials, direct materials for this job specifically. And in order to figure out how much we need to purchase, we need to see how much we have on hand. And so here we have what we're calling a raw materials record. So this tells us what we have on hand. And so this is, our black and white floral fabric, and we have 6 yards on hand at a value of $36. And I want to show you a little bit more detail. This next one, here's our black and white checked fabric. And so we started the month with 20 yards on hand, and then someone requisitioned out 12 yards on the 3rd, so now there's only 8 units left. So that's what we're looking at here, okay? So we then need to figure out how much we need to purchase, if anything. And so let's just write in here, requirement 8, what do we need to purchase? Okay, so we'll put that there just to remind ourselves of what we're trying to figure out here. And then we can copy that and put it below each of our materials that are being described here. And that way we can put the answers adjacent to our question, right? Okay, so there is our prompt. How much do we need to purchase here? Okay, now going back to the top then, this is a black and white floral, okay? Now remember, we had our list of how much this job was going to cost in a form called the bill of materials here. Right, so we go over here to the bill of materials page, and this is how much we're going to need of each of these fabrics and trims and whatnot for the job. Okay, so we're going to need 20 yards of the floral, 30 yards of the check, etc. Okay, so if we go back into our warehouse inventory records, which is basically what we have, okay, we have 6 yards of the black and white floral fabric in stock. So we're going to have to buy enough to make that total add up to 20 at least, right? So here we go. We're going to set up a formula, and it's going to be the total amount we need minus what we have on hand. Right there. So we're going to need 14 yards of this black and white floral. Okay. Now, we go through that same process with each of our fabrics. So this is the black and white checkered. So how much black and white checkered do we need? We need 30 yards of the black and white checkered. And we have on hand 8. So we're going to need 22 yards of that. I'm going to highlight these cells and make them bold so you can see what we're doing here. There we go. All right, now we have 63 yards of this black fringe trim on hand, and we're going to need 40 yards of it. So we don't need to purchase any. So, we could eyeball that and put in 0, but I want to show you something better to do, which is a cool Excel trick, right? And this is a logical statement. So we want to say if we've got more on hand than what we actually need, then don't buy any. But if we have less on hand than what we actually need, then go ahead and buy the balance, right? So that's what we're trying to do. So we need to tell Excel that. So we want to use an if function for that. So if the amount that we have on hand is greater than or equal to the amount that we need, which in this case is there, then go ahead and just put 0 in there because we don't need to buy any, right? And if it's not, then this is the value if false. If the amount that we have on hand is not greater than what we need, then we need to enter the difference. So the value, if it's false, is the amount that we have minus, I'm sorry, the other way around. It's the amount that we need minus the amount that we have. So the amount that we need is here minus what's in the raw materials, that. And I'm always nervous when I hit enter here. Let's see if it calculates right for us. So we're looking for it to return a 0. Yep, there we go, it gave us a 0. What would happen? We can always test these kind of functions. If I put the number 39 here, so I only have 39 units on hand, it should return a 1, right? So let's see if it works. It does not. So there's something wrong with my calculation, and oh, I see what's wrong. I used a negative number in front of, I used a negative sign there. There we go. Now it should return a 1. There we go. Okay, so I always leave those mistakes in there so that you can see, right? So if this is now, 2 yards on hand, this is going to return a 38. But we know, I'm just going to undo everything because I can't remember what that number was. Oh, 63. All right, there we go. So we don't need to buy any. All right, so let's do this again. All right, so we don't have any on hand here for this black shoulder strapping. So we could do that whole big long equation again. I'm not going to do that because I want to get this done and over with. So that's 70 minus 0. There we go. So we need to purchase 70 yards of the black shoulder strapping. We need to purchase, do we need to purchase? So we're not purchasing any of these. I'm just going to put a 0 in there. You can mess around with that if statement if you'd like. It's a very useful thing. And we have 2 yards left here of interfacing. And so again, we're just going to subtract what we need. I'm sorry, what we have from what we need. So we need 20 yards of interfacing, and we have 2. So that should give us 18. There it is. Okay, so that's how you figure out how much we need to purchase.